Welcome to Listen by Gene Ginsberg. This audio experience and podcast is all about social media, digital marketing, entrepreneurship, and interviews with top entrepreneurs in the digital and social space. I am your host, Gene Ginsberg, digital marketing expert, #1 best-selling author, and award-winning entrepreneur. I will be sharing with you strategies, tips, and tactics on how to grow your business and your social media following. Thanks for listening. Hey, what's happening? Gene Ginsberg, and it is noon my time today, which is Wednesday, and of course today is our Facebook Live. Oh, it's live today. Angela couldn't join me, but today we are talking about webinar funnels. So this whole week, our topic is webinar funnels and how do you use webinar funnels to find more clients. So this is another, I would say, a big overarching strategy that you can use for your business. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're finding, how do you find new customers, right? So you can, use LinkedIn. Of course, that's a strategy right there. You can do cold calling, but webinars funnels is another big overarching strategy that you can use to bring in prospective clients, have a conversation with them, and then convert them into paying customers. So let me just take a step back. What are webinar funnels? We talked a little bit about this yesterday, but I'm going to recap so that anybody who didn't join our Facebook Live yesterday, I can talk a little bit about webinar funnels. So webinar funnels are, if you were to think of a webinar, right, and you probably have seen webinars, it's a place online where you can do a presentation as a business, and then sell something at the back end of the funnel, right, or of the webinar. So you talk about, let's say, SEO is your webinar. That's the presentation about SEO. At the end of the presentation, you sell, let's say, a course about SEO. Let's just give that as an example. So we'll talk about, we'll give the example of SEO throughout this Facebook Live. So a webinar funnel is kind of similar to this, right? So, but instead of it being live, like you would have pre-scheduled one. This is something that it happens on a regular basis. So you would record the webinar as if it were a webinar, and then you would upload it to a platform. And we're going to talk about tools today. And then once the user sees the webinar, they can select a time that they want to watch it. And then it would present to them at that time. They would watch the webinar. It wouldn't be live. It would be a pre-recorded webinar. And then at the end of that webinar, either you sell them on the SEO course or you set up a time with them so that they are already kind of pre-educated on what you have to talk about, what's important, why is SEO important, let's say, in their business, if that's what you're selling, and then have a conversation with them and then sell them on the call. So there's a couple ways on how to do that. Again, you can sell them on the webinar at the end or set up a call with you and sell them on the call afterwards. So that is what a webinar funnel is. So let's talk briefly over the next few minutes about tools, right? So there's a few tools that you would need to use in order to make this successful. So the funnel itself, you would need to create I'm going to talk about kind of from the back to the front, right? Because you have to create certain things before you can create the front of the thing, right? So before you can create the webinar, you have to actually have a funnel at the end of it. So the first thing would be to create a funnel, and that would be creating whether that's email or through Facebook Messenger, a funnel that you can have users interact with you after they've already seen the webinar, right? So that could be emails, it could be Facebook Messenger bot. If you're creating an email, if you're creating an email sequence, of course, you can use something like a MailChimp, or we use ClickFunnels. That's a good one for us. That's a platform that we really like, and it's really pretty easy to use. Lots of good templates and pretty inexpensive, it's good price, I would say. It's about $97 a month. So, not create anything crazy. So ClickFunnels is a good one. Of course, you can use any other platform like a MailChimp or an ActiveCampaign in order to set up your funnel. So write the funnel, copyright it, upload it to your system, and have those emails going out. And so ClickFunnels also allows you to create landing pages for those, for that funnel. This podcast is brought to you by the Digital Marketing Method monthly group coaching program, your methodology for growing your business and your social media following. Join me and my group of supportive entrepreneurs and learn how you can grow your business and your social media following, where we cover topics such as Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, email marketing, and so much more. Go to dmgroup.online, dmgroup.online. So that is the back end. And then the front end is that you would need to then create the webinar itself. So for creating a webinar, I would use a platform like Zoom. So you can record the webinar if you're doing slides, which I would recommend, but you don't have to. If you're using slides, I use Google Slides, or you can use PowerPoint. So you create your presentation on a slide deck, and then you present and record that on a platform like Zoom, so that you have everything recorded, and then it's just a video, and then you can then use a platform like EverWebinar, or there's a few other ones. I'm trying to think of another ones, but EverWebinar is the one that I use for my clients, and that's a pretty good one. So you would need to then upload your video, the webinar that you presented, into EverWebinar. Now, there's a few other functionalities that you would need to use in order to make sure that it actually works properly. So you're going to have a link that you're going to put, let's say, in a Facebook ad, or let's say in a group or whatever, wherever you're promoting it. So there's going to be a link, and then there's some functionalities like how often do you want to run the webinar? Is it going to be on every hour on the hour? How do people sign up? What's your landing page look like? So all of that will then be set up on EverWebinar, so that when users start with the Facebook ad, they see the ad, and then they go to your landing page. They can sign up for the webinar, they watch the webinar, and then there's also a call to action at the end. So are they setting up calls? Are you selling on the webinar? So just think about that when there's going to be a few things that you're going to need to choose and to create some capabilities when you're creating a platform, when you're creating your webinar funnel in a platform like EverWebinar. So and then, of course, you're going to have something like Facebook ads or some sort of other ads that you're using in order to drive traffic to that landing page. So Facebook ads, or let's say YouTube ads, or some other type of ad platform, or you can use, let's say, groups in order to promote it. Then you would use a platform like EverWebinar in order to actually house and host the webinar. And then you would need a back-end funnel. So let's say a ClickFunnels or a MailChimp or an ActiveCampaign in order to actually communicate with your users after they've already watched the webinar, and to follow up with them after that. So those are some of the tools that I've used when setting up webinar funnels, and have really had great success with them, because typically for webinar funnels, you're selling something more of a higher end on it. It's not going to be like, oh, I'm just going to sell a $27, mini course or something like that. Like, you're typically, because they've engaged with you and they've already seen a webinar that's about 30 to 45 minutes long, it's probably going to be more of a higher ticket item. So something to think about is, of course, you have to build out that product at the end. So there's the communication, the funnel, but then there's also the product. So when they actually purchase it, what happens? So you need to also create that part of it as well. So those are the tools, and that's what a webinar funnel is, and this is how you would set it up if you were to use the specific tool. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to add them to the comments box. We always love answering questions here. And tomorrow is Tech Thursdays, and we're super excited about Tech Thursdays. So Tech Thursdays is, we invite anybody who wants to ask questions. So you can ask questions during the Facebook Live, which is, again, 11 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 2 p.m. Eastern. And you can ask any questions that are related to tech at any topic that's related to digital marketing or social media. For example, how do you set up a webinar funnel? And then we answer those questions. You can also send those questions in earlier if you want, and we will answer those questions during the Tech Thursdays. So we love Tech Thursdays because we're all about tech, and that's something that I've been doing for a very long time, and I absolutely love it. It's just for me, digital marketing is I always say it's a good combination for me of people and tech. And those are two things that I absolutely love. And I have been doing this, 13 years now. I can't believe it. It's time flies when you're in digital marketing. So if you guys have any questions for tomorrow, please feel free to send them over to me and ask any questions, or join us tomorrow live for Tech Thursdays, and we will answer any tech questions. And of course, if you are a woman entrepreneur, don't forget to join our group. I'm going to put that on here. Join our group, WETM.group. You can just punch that into your browser. It will take you to our Facebook page, and you can join our group there. And it's all about digital marketing and tech for women entrepreneurs, because we love talking to women entrepreneurs, and we love uplifting women entrepreneurs, and it's such a great thing. And we've been doing this for a long time. Me and Angela. Angela's not here today. But me and Angela, she's also been in the tech space for a very long time, and we kind of, I wouldn't say manage the group, we facilitate the group. We allow people to come to the group and to answer questions. So if you guys want to join us, please feel free to join us, WETM.group. And thanks so much for being here. Super excited, and I will see you guys all tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye.